Hey, what's up, lightboltjoe here. Today we are going to discuss the 2020 book, Yes, No, Maybe So, by Becky Albertelli and Aisha Saeed. So, this took me over 2 months to read. I could not find interest in this book. I read books to escape reality. That's what most aspects of fiction are. This is a fictitious book, but it's based on very nonfiction related political things and stuff. I didn't read the plot upon purchasing the book. I bought all of Becky Albertelli's books, starting with Love, Simon. We've been talking about these Becky books for quite some time, and it's taken me a very long time to read them. Unfortunately, I'm a fan of the author, but the work is sometimes questionable. I had no issue with how the book was presented. The plot was coherent. We had a beginning, middle, and end. The Yes, No, Maybe So of the two main characters, Jamie and Maya, I thought that was cute, but the whole political aspect of it, that they're volunteers for this special election that's going on within Georgia, and this special election is actually based off of a real special election that happened, and this was straight up influenced from the 2016 election, and there was a hate bill introduced within Georgia where they were going to ban headwear because it was deemed unsafe because anybody can hide something in it. It's a hate bill preventing, Muslim women specifically for wearing anything on their head, a hijab, anything of that sort, any kind of scarf. So those of us who were familiar with that stuff that was going on, that it never actually went into fruition, but that's nonfiction, that's real life. So to read something that is supposed to be fictitious, but it's based on nonfiction, it's really not fictitious. You have the fictitious aspect of these particular made-up characters, but it's based on real-life events. And I'm reading this before the most recent 2022 election cycle. I'm reading this during the 2022 election cycle. I'm reading this after the 2022 election cycle. And it's disgusting how this country is in general. And to read it while you're living it is frustrating because it's not an escape. I love the different Reed Riordan Presents books. I love Reed Riordan's books in general because they're mythologically based fiction set in quote-unquote real life, but it's fiction. And it gives you all your life meanings and stuff of that nature. This is just a straight-up book about real life, about these characters from two different faiths, will they, won't they, throughout the book, which is fine. I'm all for that. If that was just the two different faith background kids were trying to figure out if they can be together, do they want to be together, to find out finally that they are in love with each other, that's wonderful. But I didn't like reading the real life stuff that was going on because I already know how terrible it was. I didn't want to read it again. That's the point of reading, for me, is to escape that horrendous aspect of the world we currently live in. So I get it. The ending was a whole, yes, we might have lost the election, but there's still hope. But that's what we get from Star Wars all the time, right? That's what the point of the Republic was for. That's the point of the rebellion is for. That's the point of what the resistance was for. Hate might win, but they're not going to win the war. They might win the battle, but they won't win the war. We've seen it time and time and time again. We see it in the real world time and time and time again. I don't want to read it when I'm already living it. I don't want to read it when I'm already living it. Star Wars is different. Star Wars is just the connotation mixed in based on, certain political aspects that we've talked about this, the similarities. But there's a difference between a fictitious world with fictitious wars, with fictitious hate, compared to Yes, No, Maybe So, which was specifically based on a hate bill that was drafted in Georgia with the same exact connotation. There's no, art imitating life in this aspect because it's straight up copying of what was happening. It wasn't fictitious. It was just straight up fiction. It was hard to read. It was very hard to read. I didn't find any interest in it because I read to escape, not to relive it again. So I have 3 other Becky Albertelli books to read. I'm very nervous. I'm hoping there's no political connotation. And I was just talking to one of my friends at work about this. I've been on a binge of reading books that the author had, because I'm a fan of the author. Not that I'm a fan of the plot points. I've been reading books because of the author, and I read all of Alice Osman's books, which are absolutely incredible because she just gives these amazing stories with amazing characters and amazing underlining meanings and all these beautiful things that you are allowed to question, you're allowed to express yourself. And yes, there's very real life, dramas and mental illness and anxiety versus depression versus self-harm. All of those different things are talked about in a safe conversation type of way, where you're not alone in these certain situations, that people do experience these things, that it's not just you, it's we, not me, kind of a thing. That's very different. That's very different because it's a reflection kind of a thing. I see you experiencing what I'm seeing. This book, the Yes No Maybe So book, is just straight up political. It's not even satire. It's just straight up political because of everything that has happened within Georgia, within everything that's happened within the country. All of the hate bills, all of the hate connotations that racists aren't afraid to hide anymore. All of these different things, and it's like reading a news article. It's what it felt like. I genuinely felt like I was reading news articles at one point. It wasn't fictitious. It wasn't we, not me. It was very in your face. This is terrible. It has to change. But we live that daily. I don't know. Maybe if someone from a different country read it, it'd be a little different for them. But being an American living in this country, it's pretty hard to read. Pretty hard to read. Maybe that's why I love Alice's books so much, because I am not from England and she is. I don't know, man. It was very hard to read this. It was very frustrating. It was very frustrating reading that. And this isn't short. It's what, 436 pages, something like that. It took me like 2 months to read this. I normally don't take that long to read things anymore. So, like I said, 3 more Becky books. We have Kate in Waiting. We have What If It's Us. We have Here's to Us. I'm hoping that these are going to hold my interest and attention. And then we jump back into the mythology books after a quick little stint in the Wimpy Kid books, which I know are going to be fantastic. But we did it. Thus another book completed. What are we up to? 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 31. So this was the 31st novel we read this year so far. I'm currently recording this on November 27th. We still have a month and a couple days left of the year. I'm sure I could read another book. I don't know about 2. But we've read a lot of graphic novels in the works as well. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35 graphic novels, 31 novels. I've never read this much in my entire life within a year. So kudos to me for that. But I need to find more books that I enjoy. Like, I felt obligated finishing this book. But my Amazon wish list is like 200 books long because of a lot of authors. And some plot points, but a lot of authors. So I'm worried. But I'm still going to read them. Eventually. In time. Let's see. On to the next review. Mucho mahalo.